So they was clout chasing. LockBit used clout chasing. It turns out the threat actor hit an individual bank and not the Fed. They have apparently breached the American bank Evolve Bank and Trust. Cyber threat monitoring company Hackmanic posted in an update on social media.
The guidance is that you don't pay the ransom because, as the hospital stated, there's no guarantee that they'll actually give you your data back, or that they won't say, all right, since you want to pay that, give me a little bit more.
Just know who you're working for. Be careful about who you tell, how much you're making and what you're actually doing.
And just because you're remote doesn't mean you have a flexible work schedule.
The U.S. Department of Commerce Bureau of Industry and Security on Thursday announced a first-of-its-kind ban that prohibits Kaspersky Labs' U.S. subsidiary from directly or indirectly offering its security software in the country. The manipulation of Kaspersky software included in the U.S. critical infrastructure can cause significant risk of data theft, espionage, and system malfunction. It can also risk the country's economic security and public health.
So your company is not your family, right? These are for-profit businesses. Legally speaking, if they could legally pay us $2 per day, they would. Like, there's only one person fit to play God in this world, and that's me.
All right, man. I wish I had some funeral music. You know why?
No.
You not caught up?
I am. Oh, yeah, I am. I am caught up. Nope, I'm caught up. I'm hip.
Okay.
I'm caught up.
Okay. Yeah, man. Before we start the episode off, man, I just want to, say RIP to my boy Duda. You had a long race since season 1, but as Glorilla said, at the end of the day got to end. So we shall see what season 7 beholds. Shout out to my boy. I watch Mark Dark TV a lot, and his nicknames be hilarious. Like for Nook, he always calling Nook if you buck. So he the new Duda now. And that's gonna be crazy. I kind of like how that was a climactic last couple of minutes in the finale that's really gonna have a boiling point in season 7. And I don't even know. Technically, I can see it going past season 7 because it's like, wow,
there's a lot to unravel there.
Yeah, and they've been introducing so many new characters, so it's kind of just like I could see them doing a season 8 just because like people may just want to see these new characters get fleshed out. So that's how I feel about that. Y'all already know how I feel about my boy Ghost and Tommy, aka Tariq and Braden.
Oh, man,
like all beef aside, if they let who was it? If it was like Kane be cool with them, they really could be the new Kane and Ghost and Tommy.
No, for real. Everybody is giving that energy for those characters for sure.
Yeah. Diana gonna be Tariq Tasha.
She's definitely Tasha. It stresses me out so bad. But we got to circle back real quick to the Shy, because how did you feel when he came to her house, his baby mama house, and was like, basically like, I did this for y'all. But why he kill him? It's just too much. It's too much.
Why he do that, or why he killed Rob?
Rob
had too much dip on his chip.
It just happened so fast. Like, and then him taking his body to his mama house was just so I'm scared of what the next season is going to have in store. Yeah, he sent the message.
All you had to do was just listen right there and they would have been all right, but she didn't want to listen. So Kenneth like, I don't know what they're talking about right now.
I really don't. I have no idea whatsoever.
We're just talking about the Shy.
Okay.
And I could just throw something random in here that I haven't did in the beginning of an episode, but I think you watch Demon Slayer, don't you, Kenneth?
Yeah, I'm caught up with that. Actually, well, not this week's episode yet.
I haven't watched it yet, but I didn't read the manga. I just actually I did read it to see what happens at the end because I got tired of it taking so long to come back on. So they are fleshing some stuff out, which is cool. But I like the animation. That's it. I still think it's a highly overrated anime. I think if it wasn't animated so good, people would not care that much about it. It is.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, the storyline's like really simple, but the action scenes are really awesome. Yeah,
really simple. We've seen it before.
It's very straightforward and towards the point.
Shoot, my GOAT manga just came out. What was that, last week? Yeah. Boruto came out, I think, like last week.
Okay. I thought I said One Piece for a second.
Saving his sister and his future wife in like a second.
Nice.
But I think we're going to let Destiny get the floor because she wants to talk about work from home blues. And I kind of want to know what prompted this, I guess, topic, because I got something on this too that I actually want to bring up. So we're going to let her talk about
I think I would say just getting comfortable. I feel like it's a cycle for me, like getting too comfortable working from home, in terms of, not getting dressed, just throwing on a t-shirt or something because you may be off video or whatever for the day. So just being intentional about having a day or a routine, getting up with enough time for you to be able to maybe cook some breakfast, maybe listen to some news, listen to the podcast while you're getting your day started. A good day for me is going to the gym, coming home, taking a bath, making me a smoothie, checking my emails, maybe listening to some music or some sort of podcast to get my day started. But being intentional about getting dressed. I mean, obviously, I'm not talking high heels, but being intentional about putting your outfit on, even if you're going to be sitting at the computer all day, just so your day feels different and not, you don't really just get caught up in the cycle. I know for me, I just try to be a bit more intentional about that because it does change how you feel throughout your day. Even when you're on lunch, like go outside, get some sunlight. If you're somewhere where it's warm, take a quick 10-minute walk. But being intentional about the things that you're doing so that you don't get caught up in the cycle of, working from home. So I don't have to basically put forth much effort when it comes to maybe your appearance or the food that you're eating, being intentional about eating your lunch, maybe preparing it ahead of time or being excited about eating lunch instead of skipping it. So making your day be more intentional like it would be if you were commuting or going into office. So I just wanted to bring that one up because I think a lot of people can relate to that for sure, especially in this day and age. With us, a lot of people have been working remote for a while now. So what's your thoughts on it?
I was actually thinking about that the other day because I got up to take my little girl to school, I don't know, I think I had put some cologne or something on or whatever. Or like, there are certain days, like you said, if I want to feel like more productive, I'm actually like throw something decent on. Feel like you're doing something. I think that is a good way if you want to be productive. It's like act as if you was going into the office. I think that could help you. Like you said, working out is a big one. Like I try to get my 3 days a weekend, and I did get them in this week. So I'm happy about that because some days it's 2, some days it's 1, just based on, not some days, some weeks it's 2, some days is 1 based on how busy I am. I try to do some stuff that made me feel productive around the house. Now, I don't get out and go walk because it's just too hot out here. Like literally putting the car seat in the car the other day, I started sweating and that was like 5 minutes. So, now, like I went to Dunkin' Donuts, so this was like a good time to like walk around, like because it's not super hot yet. It's like perfect. But I would also say this is what I used to do to even give myself a breather, like because I've been in security operations. So some days you might have your head down into the sim and logs all day. Or actually, you know what? It was to jumpstart my day. I used to play my game to jumpstart my day.
How long?
It wasn't long. I normally play like 3 games of Brawlhalla. And I would just like do it to like jumpstart my brain and get me ready. And it used to work. Sometimes I still have time to do it. Sometimes I don't. Now that I have like my work machine is always like right here, and then this is my PC. I have my, where is it? I have this right here. And sometimes I just will play right here on Steam, and play 3 and then stop. So that's a couple things I got to do. I actually bought some Legos to take me away from the screen time.
Yes, that's the big thing for me too, is stepping away from the computer, especially like on your lunch. I'm good for working through a lunch. I'm good for skipping lunch. And so I've been trying to be more intentional about stepping away, cutting my brain off for a minute because that's healthy. That's the healthy thing to do. You can't just look at the screen all day without taking a step back. And obviously, sometimes you may have a day where that is the case, but every day shouldn't be like that. You need to step away. And so that's why I force myself to go outside. I have a dog, so I'll just take her on a quick walk, and that'll be that. Me getting a little sunlight and some fresh air.
That's good. What you think, Kenneth?
Yeah, for me, I'm a big thing on like how you dress affects like your brain cycles. So I always try to like change, wash my face. I don't go to the gym in the morning because I'm not a morning person, so I normally go like after work. But I normally probably spend maybe 8 hours boxing and sparring per week. So I'm really exhausted like on the weekends. So I normally just chill and watch anime or Star Wars. But yeah, I've seen people, especially for like consulting practices for Big Four, and people like will walk through, they'll like work through their lunch, so work like at 9 p.m. at night. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like I have a life outside of this, and people take it really seriously. I'm like, guys, I'm like we're just consultants. I'm like just chill.
You know what? That's good you actually said that, because sometimes people start setting unrealistic expectations and then they want you to do the same thing they're doing. I'm like, no, I'm contracted to work from here to here. None of this other stuff got anything to do with me. And you got to set that early.
Yeah, I don't like after like 5 p.m. I don't answer any of my messages, and someone pings me. I'm like, I'll just answer it tomorrow. Like it's not that important. It never is. So I was like, oh, Kenneth, I'm like, something's on fire. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm like, if I'm on call or something, that's probably about the only time. Other than that, no. Call
Well,
somebody
I'm
else.
guilty. I'm definitely responding, but it depends on what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fire, but we got really flexible work hours. So
Yeah,
sometimes
that's
people are
different.
just online, So yeah.
Yeah, that's different. If you can just do not whatever, but if you can like come in
Yeah.
when you want or do that's different. Hey, I'm gonna knock all my stuff out tonight so I can have my day free tomorrow. I'll go get a manicure, pedicure, massage, But speaking of that also the work from home thing, I think is also why some people don't mind going into office with me once or twice a week, just because of getting at the house, feeling like you're doing something. You feel a little bit more purposeful going around other people sometimes and just not being at home. And I especially think it's hard if you're a single person with no kids and you work from home and don't do anything, but just do that. I actually do think you need to get some human interaction. We aren't meant to be alone. So that's
I agree
definitely
with that too.
Yeah,
I just
man.
don't like being told you have to come in these days. And if the work culture isn't there, then it's not fun. You getting out, it could feel like a waste of time. But if you have a culture where you can lean over and ask your neighbor a question or something, I definitely think that's beneficial. And sometimes I do miss that piece of working in offices, just being able to learn more quicker, better, hearing other conversations, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. On top of just not even that, somebody on the other team, like if they're BSing and they're not asking your teams or email, I know
you
your
can walk
department is
down there.
talk to
Exactly.
your people. Like, bro, I sent you this and this is important. Why are you like not responding to it? So that's definitely that. But now one of the ones that's been going on, I want to say almost 2 weeks now, is CDK Global. And for people who don't know who CDK is, they offer pretty much all the back end stuff that the dealerships do. And let's share this real quick in case you want to read. So select dealerships seeing dealer management systems restored. Let me go to this. So yeah, this was published on the 28th of June. So that's 2 days ago. More than a week after CDK Global shut down up-end operations for thousands of car dealerships, the software provider said it is in process of restoring various applications. Last week against the company, Cybertext last week against the company prompted CDK to shut down most of its systems, leaving some car dealerships to resort to handwritten forms to continue operations. This reminds me of, what's that when we talked about Ascension, Destiny?
Yep. The
Yeah.
healthcare.
Remind me of Ascension.
Yep.
Remember they had the ransomware where they had the cyber attack and they couldn't use their EHR stuff, so they had to write it by hand to, like, you know, service patients. So this definitely reminds me of that. The company's cloud-based software helps more than 15,000 auto dealerships across North America manage vehicle acquisition, sales, finance, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. CDK is continuing a phased approach to restoring customer software. According to a company statement, it has so far brought 2 small groups of dealers and 1 large publicly traded dealer group live on dealer management system. I'm trying to go through this without, like, trying to bore everybody. Let's go to the details of the attack. Multiple outlets recorded future ransomware analysis. Alan Liska identified a black suit as the hacking group behind the cyber attack on CDK. Recorded Future did not immediately respond to a Friday request for a comment. Black Suit is a newer cyber criminal team that spun off an old Russia-linked hacking group. It's always Russia. According to everybody, it's always Russia. Security Forum Recorded Future says the group has breached at least 95 organizations across the globe. Cyber criminals are a growing threat to target car dealerships, with 17% of 175 surveyed dealers experiencing a cyber attack or incident within the past year, up from 15% the year prior. According to a 2023 CDK report, of those dealers, 46% said the cyber attack had a negative financial or operation impact. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing. Let me stop sharing. I'll just actually add some tidbits from what I did from the research. So I think when they first initially got attacked, they got attacked again while trying to restore systems, which put CDK, which put them back even more. And then that's those things too. It's like, there were a lot of experts saying, hey, I think they're trying to come back online too fast. They have not pretty much gauged the scope of the incident. And that's why in any interview, especially most of the time it's for more IR interviews, but you may be accessing a SOC interview, it's very important when you're answering your questions to tell them, hey, we need to scope out the incident, because if you don't, things like this happen. I don't think they scoped it out properly. I think they're probably losing so much money. They're just trying to get online as fast as possible. But if they're not making sure all the threat actors are out or know what threat actors hit them so they can prepare for them again, they'll probably find themselves in the same position. Because who was that kept getting hit over and over again? I know Okta was one. I think LastPass was a company who kept getting hit. By the way, I use Dashlane, so I'm going to send this part to Dashlane. Dashlane. I think I talked to one of the people that's like a CISO or something there. Like, let's go ahead and sponsor the show. But anyway, that's the thing, is like, I would rather be coming back on at the perfect time than too fast. So it's kind of like one of those things, like, I don't mind if you respond slow, just make it be right. Because I'm here with, like, trying to get some information out too fast and not, doing a trust but verify and sending the right stuff out.
And persistence is real. And that's the way of the game. That's how they continue to live off the land and live in your environment.
Look at you.
And also I want to know, what is their account compromise remediation plan and what procedures they have in place, because a lot of the time that stuff isn't documented. So they know what they should do, but it's not documented. So let's say you were supposed to do it, but you're out of office. So, Ken be able to do it if it's 3 a.m. without calling you? So right. A lot of this stuff isn't even included in the documentation. So I'm just interested to understand why they rushed to get back on. Like you said, it was probably because they were missing out on money, but now what's going to happen?
Right. And you got to look at it like this. A lot of people didn't even know I didn't even know who they were. I think I had seen them on a couple of job, like, descriptions of job applications. But for the most part, I wasn't too familiar with CDK Global. So if I'm going to take that method of thought, I would want to believe that they probably said it'll never happen to us. Because I think a lot of companies feel like, oh, we'll never get breached until you get breached. And so I think that's probably why there's a little bit more lax. I think I saw an incident manager role, matter of fact, for them on LinkedIn. Maybe I can find it and share it here. So I think they're probably going to bring in I think they probably got an external team, but I think they're probably going to bring in some new people. Because one of the problems you'll see in most environments, and everybody probably can attest to this, if you got people that's been there a long time, they are with the status quo. They're not going to question anything. They're going to go with everything. They're just here to get their check. They probably older. They probably close to retiring. But so all the stuff that like could possibly happen to y'all that they're not caring about, like it's gonna take new eyes and a new mind to come in and say, this isn't right, this isn't right. Hey, prime example, like I said, remediation plan is like, you know, if it's 3 a.m, my team needs to be able to disable AD accounts. I don't need to reach out to this other team who may or not be 24/7. And then it takes us 30 hour 30, 2 hours to disable an account where the threat actor then ran rampant for about 2 hours, all because you didn't answer. Like
Did we
we need to
talk
be able
about
to do
that?
that instantly. Yeah, go ahead.
Did me and you talk about that? I talked about this to someone, can't remember who it was, but there was an incident in like a U.S. company, but the U.S. company was asleep. And so the company that was in India got alerted and they couldn't do anything because they didn't have the access. Like they knew what to do, but they didn't have the proper access to pick up in the 24-hour, SOC environment. So it's a lot that goes into it that you really have to be intentional about, especially if you're in a environment like that where you have the backup team not in the US. Because if something happens, like you just said, 2 hours is a long time. That's a long time.
Yeah. And I can understand why some of them don't have the access. I do know it was a report a while back saying like when you're starting to offshore labor and stuff like that, some of those people are like giving that information to their country. So like American stuff is like going over there to some of these other countries. So they're trying to figure out, I don't know, pretty much America really got to stop being cheap, because a friend of mine was just informed that their whole team, like, man, I think that whole IT department is being offshored to India. And mind you, this is a major security company
Because it's
that's
cheaper.
tasked with like alerting people. Yep. That's tasked with alerting people, like if somebody's going to break into your house, but you want to have these people over here do it who don't even have the experience. Like my friend told me, Shirley's like, these people don't know none of the stuff they're supposed to know right now.
And a lot of companies have some sort of team in India. A lot of major companies do. I think it's because it's cheaper, because they don't have to pay them as much as they pay U.S. employees.
Right. But see, they wouldn't have to pay you as employees.
They're smart, though. They're smart.
Some of them are. If you've had your fair share of working with them, you had the elite ones are pretty good. And then it's the other ones where you have to tell them verbatim what to do every time, to where it's just like, why do I have to tell you to do all this simple stuff? Like, you will only do what I tell you. It's nothing outside the box. So that's a conversation for another day with people who work with people in India a lot. It's just probably like cultural differences too. But it's funny though, because this same company, like right now, our episode is privated on my YouTube because they got mad that he was talking about how much he made. And that was only a couple of months ago, just for now to say, oh, you guys are going to be, I was like, bro, that made me mad for him. I was like, that's why, like, I just always tell people to go with your move, man. Kenneth has been penny cried, man. What is something that you would add on to this, especially like if you were talking to your students?
I would say just know who you're working for. Be careful about who you tell how much you're making and what you're actually doing right. Because for a lot of bigger firms, they don't want you to have any life outside of what you're doing for them. And I found this out the hard way. So it's very annoying when that happens. You know, like, dude, I'm trying to do my job here. Like, why do you care what I do outside of work? Like, I'm not like stealing babies out of people's houses. Like, what are you doing? Like, why do you care? So I tell my students, right? I mean, like for like us, like inside of ECA, they can tell me like how much you make and like what you want to make, right? Because you can trust me. But like for people like random strangers on LinkedIn, I wouldn't tell them like how much you make or like what exactly you do, because someone might be watching.
Yeah. So I
agree.
learned a valuable lesson with that episode. Like, unless a person tells me implicitly that we can say their employer's name, I don't even mention it for nobody, just because I was like, you know, they're hating. And don't get me started on secondary work, because I'll just tell them in a minute. I was like, oh, well, you can go do mergers and acquisitions, but I can't in my own personal life. I'm like, okay. Because when you say it back to them, they really understand how stupid it is that they're worried about you, a one small person, compared to a corporation. They see how stupid that is.
Yeah, it's because it's really funny. Like people at the top, like executive level, they can have multiple jobs. They can be partners with other firms, making millions of dollars. But if I have a second job, wait a second, you're making pennies off of someone else? No, you can't do that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. You know, they're doing that because they just don't want you to see, some people don't want to see your potential or whatever. They would want you to always want to need them because they probably feel like you'll be a better employee by that. But trust me, you're a better employee if you're a happy employee and can do what you want to do outside of work. The companies that get it.
Okay.
All right. I think Destiny had an article that she wanted to get to.
Okay. So Chicago Children's Hospital says 791,000 impacted by ransomware attack. We've been talking a ton about ransomware attacks over the last few months. So Anne and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago is informing hundreds of thousands of individuals that their personal and health information has been compromised as a result of a ransomware attack. So the hospital took many of its systems offline in late January in response to a cyber attack, which resulted in limited access to medical records, disruptions to a patient portal, and hampered communications. So the investigation revealed that the bad actors had access to the systems between January 26th and January 31st, and a wide range of information was compromised. So we have names, addresses, dates of birth, dates of service, your driver license number, your social security number, email address, phone number, health claim info, medical conditions or diagnosis, medical records, medical treatments, and your prescription information. The hospital did not did not specifically say that it was targeted by a ransomware group, but it did say in a data breach notification on its website that it refused to pay a ransom. So a spokesperson for the hospital said experts have advised that making a payment to cybercriminals does not guarantee the deletion or retrieval of data that has been taken. Once our investigation team identified an amount of data was impacted by the criminals, we work closely with law enforcement to retrieve the data. So Reseda ransomware group took credit for the attack and has claimed on its website that the data stolen has been sold, which indicates that the ransom has not been paid. It is estimated that they have about 600 gigabytes of data from the organization. So I really wanted to highlight this because I thought it was super interesting that they didn't pay the ransom, because that's not typically what we see lately or what we've been seeing lately. People have been paying the ransom because they need to get the data back. So that was just interesting to me. Still another ransomware case, which is insane because they've been running rampant this year. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting because they said we're not paying it because you're not going to finesse us if we pay you and still not give us our data. So we're okay, basically.
Yeah. While you were reading that, I just thought about something. You know what they should do? They should find individuals who want to be like a part of the find ransomware groups task force. Like, I'm guaranteeing most of these people in these ransomware groups can't fight. So instead of trying to like bargain with them, just to go physically put hands on them, like go find them and slap them and tell them to get your data back. Like, just do what they do in the movies.
That's just what I would do. That they were smart. They were smart. I mean, you know,
think about it. Do you think these guys can fight? I don't think they can fight. They got too much time on their hands.
They probably can't fight for sure. But I think that it's interesting to see both sides of the lens. We've talked about companies who paid it. They don't explicitly come out and say we've paid it, but the transactions can be traced back to see that they've paid some large amounts around the time that they were compromised. But I think it's interesting and important to also see the other side, because the guidance is that you don't pay the ransom, because as the hospital stated, there's no guarantee that they'll actually give you your data back, or that they won't say, all right, since you want to pay that, give me a little bit more. And
shake down.
Yeah.
Virtual shakedown.
Big bro,
While
little
you were
bro.
while you were talking, an interesting article came through my security news in Slack. It says fake IT support sites push malicious PowerShell scripts as Windows fixes. And I wanted to touch on this because we see similar stuff like this all the time in phishing, where it will guide somebody to a site that honestly is not inherently malicious. But what tends to happen sometimes is a malicious threat actor has taken over their website and added like pop-ups to tell you to download something and run like Windows updates and crap. And then that's how they get on your machine. It doesn't stay up for long. So they're smart. They'll do it. They'll get in and get out. Especially they do it to people who got WordPress sites. But let's see. Fake IT support site push malicious PowerShell scripts as Windows fixes. And fake IT support sites promote malicious PowerShell fixes for common Windows error, like I'm not reading long error, but to infect devices with the information stealing malware. First discovered by, I guess that's eCentire. Threat response true. We're gonna say true, like they got the parentheses. The fake support sites are prompted through YouTube channels that have been compromised and hijacked to add legitimacy to the content creator. Okay. In particular, the threat actors are creating fake videos promoting a fix for the error that millions of Windows users have been dealing with since January. During January 2024 Patch Tuesday, Microsoft released security updates to fix a BitLocker encryption bypass flaw. After installing the update, Windows users worldwide reported receiving this error install failure when attempting to install the update, which would not go away no matter how hard they tried. There were some problems installing updates, but we'll try again later. If you keep seeing this and want to search, okay, I just want to stop right here. And this is really focused on what they're saying, what the threat actors are putting in this message. There were some problems installing updates, but we'll try again later. If you keep seeing this and want to search the web or contact support for information, this may help. Reads the Windows update error. So look, it turns out the Windows update is displaying an incorrect error message as it was supposed to display a CBS_E insufficient disk_space error on systems with Windows recovery environment partition that's too small for the update to install. Let's see, this is long. Let me try to get to some good stuff, y'all, because I don't want y'all snoozing off as I'm reading this. Let's go right here. Fake IT supports promote PowerShell fixes. According to True, threat actors are creating numerous fake IT support sites that are specifically designed to help users with common Windows errors, heavily focusing on, I just got to read it one time, OX800-70643. In June 2024, True observed an intriguing case involving a Vidar Stealer infection initiated through a fake IT support website. Figure 1 explains the eCentire report. Okay. But I wonder how do they fall for this, because I guess it got a lot of views because it was popular. But I would want to see how these people pages look before then.
First of all, the message has me dead. This may help. That doesn't even sound legitimate at all. It's like that immediately to me. I would be like, what? That doesn't even sound right.
That's
we'll
like
try
Microsoft
again later. For an update? No. This may help. No. For me, no.
The infection began when victims performed a web search for solutions to a Windows update error code. The researchers found 2 fake IT support sites promoted on YouTube, named pretty much BS stuff. People just do the domains when you know they're malicious. By writing this article, Bleeping Computer found additional sites at, like the other videos eCentire found for the PC Helper Wizard typo sites. Bleeping Computer also found YouTube videos for the fix guide sites. These sites all offer fixes that either require you to copy and run a PowerShell script or import the contents of a Windows registry file. Regardless of which solution is used, a PowerShell script will be executed that downloads malware on the device. So as soon as you open the command line, copy the following commands and paste it, right click. Yeah. That's just pretty much like this is in line with like sock ghoulish and all the other crap that you'll see online. This PowerShell script contains a base64 encoded script that will connect to a remote server to download another PowerShell script. which installs the Vidar information stealing malware on a device. When the script is finished, it will display a message that the fix was successful and it restarts the computer, which will also launch the malware. The fix guide site does it a bit differently using an obfuscated that word always get me. And it's funny because I was in that Black IT group at Facebook, and the dude was talking about he went through an interview and he messed up on saying obfuscated, and he said he think that's one of the reasons why they didn't hire him. But I'm like, man, it's a weird word to say, especially if you talk fast like me sometimes. Using an obfuscated Windows registry file to hide auto starts that launch a malicious PowerShell script. Mm-hmm. However, when I extracted the strings from the above file, you can see that it contains a valid registry file that adds a Windows auto start run once entry that runs a PowerShell script. This script ultimately downloads and installs information stealing malware on the computer. It's like they find different ways to get their job done, but it's pretty much always the same. Users' ignorance.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It is. Yep. But it was smart still a little bit. The way they had the YouTube video to teach you to how to basically install the malware, which you don't know that you're doing.
Yeah, but I want to know if those channels, were they already technical channels? And did they fool the people who own the channels by like hijacking their session? Because that's what they do to YouTube channels. They'll hijack their session and then get in, and they'll take a minute before YouTube can get them their channel back. And so that's what people got to watch out for, just clicking on stuff people send them. But yeah, man, Kenneth, what kind of detection? Well, granted, this is not happening in enterprise settings. This is happening in users. And I was thinking the other day, like, why, like, outside of antivirus, like, wouldn't it be cool? It'd probably be so hard to do, though. But imagine offering, like, security services to, like, people in their homes. Like, hey, like, I don't know how you would, I know how you would do it. You have to come in and probably put some login stuff in. But I just think it probably can get overwhelming just because of all the differences, and there will be no consistency to people's data.
Yeah, I try to reach out to local businesses, but a lot of times I have to educate them on what I actually do. Because they're like, what's like logging what? Cybersecurity what? But like, why should I care about that, right? So that's another big reason as to why these attacks will happen on small businesses, because they're not properly educated on it. Because if you run like a laundromat or a local restaurant, you're 9 times out of 10 not gonna know about cybersecurity, right? So just trying to educate is a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, the first thing they can do is just get Malwarebytes. That's what I would tell them to do. Malwarebytes the GOAT. Especially for home computers, whether it's on my Mac or my Windows, it's always catching something. Now, a bit of fun stuff to talk about is, we'll call this recruiter etiquette. Let's call this recruiter etiquette. And let's share this. Because I like arguing with people who think they just, bee's knees. All right, so shout out to my girl, Shanae. Let me zoom in here. So she's like, hey, y'all, I talk a lot about boundary setting. There are people out there who cross the line. I had someone find my cell phone number and call me to get my attention because I wasn't answering his DMs or emails. I understand I'm a recruiter and where I work isn't a secret, but don't ever cross that boundary with me. We are all professionals. That is unprofessional and very unacceptable. To my job seeking community, there are many people out here that need a job. Many. I was one of them. But the same way we hold recruiters and companies to the fire when they misstep is the same way you have to have ownership when you cross the line. We should all want each other to win, but offending people in the process won't cut it no matter who you are. All of us need to do better. And yeah, that sparked a lot of talk. Let me see if I can find my comment, because I'm only gonna focus on what I said. Where's my comment? Oh, we went to this guy right here, Keith Toad. And it's always amazing. It's always the people who are not really working in like certain like tech focused roles where they come and chime in where their advice isn't needed. But he came in talking about something. I respectfully disagree. The more senior you become, the more creative people will get in order to speak with you. Most senior executives get cold called 12 times a day or more. You can either take it as a compliment or you can complain. You decided on the complaining route when you should be seeing a tier 1 candidate who not only found your number, never know if a number found online is work or personal, but also had the guts to call you. Sounds like a top-notch salesperson. Most commercial executives would love to hire, but will most likely get ignored. Too bad the hungriest dog walks the farthest. And I'm not going to read what she said because I'm just going to focus on what I said. Because I really was over here being facetious with him. And so I just told him, stop being obtuse. Her number isn't publicly available, which means it's implied she doesn't want everyone to have it, which is like totally true. I don't care nothing about that sales stuff. And most of the time, telemarketers, we know they're not supposed to. They're getting their information from like the people we have our cell phone service with. But most of the time, if I'm getting cold called or emailed, it's like probably like through a work email or just or whatever. Like I'm rarely kind of getting a lot of that stuff to my phone. Perhaps she shouldn't list it publicly if she doesn't want to be called. Better yet, if she responded to the person's emails and DMs, there wouldn't be the need to call. So initially I had messed up and put her number is publicly available. So I had to go back and edit it to say isn't. However, this was still stupid because it's like emails and DMs. I don't know if he's ever been a recruiter because they're always getting slammed with emails and DMs. They can't respond to everybody. That's why I said, she says verbatim, they found it, meaning she didn't give it to them. The only time I text recruiters that they have told me I could text them in relation to a job. Have you ever been in sales? Part of the game is figuring out the contact info of a prospect or target. This person did from a publicly available source and made the call. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so I said, by your logic, if I find your social security number online and get a credit card, then I can, since it's publicly available for me to find. Bet. And I really just said that to be funny. But if I did do that, I would do it in a way that he wouldn't know it was me. And I just thought, like, he just kept on going on because he wanted to be, like, willfully ignorant. But I just want to tell people as a person who shows my students how to get recruiters' attention, I never have suggested, hey, contact them on their personal number. Because that is a boundary. Like most of the time, if recruiters give me a number of contact, it's like the work phone that they use for work. It's not their personal number. 2, they tell me, hey, if you need to reach me, you can email me, you can call me here or text me here, and I'll get back to you. I'll respond. That's what they typically tell me or anybody that has common sense. So that person definitely is probably not getting a job. And one of the reasons why they probably didn't get the emails or DMs to answer, they probably weren't qualified either. So I was like, to go to that extreme is fine. If you're going to try to do something like that, at least ask somebody that's connected to them. It's like, hey, I see that your friends are so-and-so. Could you tell her, hey, I found that personal number and I want to ask her about this job, yada, yada, yada. And then they'll probably reply back and say no. But at least you went through trying to do a legitimate way to contact her versus just taking it to your own hands and making yourself look bad. Like, I get it. Y'all want to find a job, but do it in the parameters of the right way. This is not sales. Don't listen to him. He has white privilege. I'm sorry if you hear this, but he has white privilege, and that's why he thinks like stupid like that. Because that's typically how they'll kind of look at it. Sometimes they'll take something that they know nobody wants to do. Because her husband, Terrence, made a good point on the post. He said, I read a lot of y'all replies. He said, imagine if I found y'all home address and I just pulled up. Like, that's the good analogy. It's right there. Like, okay, bet. Well, I know where you stay and I need you to answer me. So I'm just going to pull up at your house because I found your address. That'd be pretty weird and you'd be mad. So, as Michael Jordan said, the old commercial, please stop. Get some help.
I want to give my 2 cents. I feel like, what is this, 2008? Relax. We don't do that anymore. We're not calling people, we're harassing them like we did back in the day for jobs. And even still, most of the time, you wouldn't even do it really back in the day. You might call to check on an application, but you're not hounding anyone down because they're not responding to you. Like, it becomes an uncomfortable situation to be in because you never know people's intentions. Like, people do need jobs. People are out here struggling, but it doesn't mean that you can handle people that in that way, in that manner. This is 2024. We don't do that anymore. We communicate via email 9 times out of 10. If you do get someone's phone number, it's likely because they gave it to you. If you do find it, you should not reach out to them about a job opportunity. It's distasteful. And how would you feel if someone did it to you? And even from a sales perspective, like, no, I don't agree with it at all. Stay out of people's phone numbers, personal phone numbers. Don't call people. There's other ways that you can go about it. Like he was saying, there's other ways that you can go about it more tastefully. You can ask to have an introduction, because at the end of the day, if you do something that turns that person off or makes them feel uncomfortable, then they're not going to remember you in a good way, and that defeats the whole purpose.
No, I agree. And like I said, if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to really go and risk it all, shoot, try to find a hiring manager. All the recruiter can do is just look at yourself and they'll probably deny you. You're better off trying to find a hiring manager. If you're just going to throw a Hail Mary, try to find a hiring manager. That's what I would do. But these people are crazy. I know you had some other articles on here, Destiny. I think you sounded really excited about the first HBCU in California.
I was. Okay, I'll share so you can see this.
Sorry, I lied to you, Martin.
Okay. So California will welcome its first ever HBCU this year. So coming to California this upcoming school year, the state's first HBCU, this landmark initiative results from a collaboration between Huston Tlasten University, I hope that's how you say HTU, and the National College Resources Foundation, the San Diego Office of Education, and the University of La Verne. With satellite campuses in San Diego and Los Angeles County, this marks a significant expansion of HBCU education on the West Coast. So HTU is an Austin-based HBCU. It's spearheading the project. We have Dr. Melva Wallace, who is the president, who is very excited about the venture, stating, "We are so excited to partner with the NCRF, the San Diego County Office of Education, and the University of La Verne to open a HBCU in California. I look forward to having you a part of the Rand family." So the initiative not only provides an opportunity for students in California to experience an HBCU education, but also aims to foster cultural representation and diversity in higher education. So that's really just the last or the end of the article. It was really short, but I just thought that was super cool and something to highlight. I'm excited. I guess I'd see to look into and to understand more about what type of programs the school will feature, specifically like tech related, STEM related for me. I do feel like when I've looked at some schools, and I'm not putting them all into a category, but a lot of HBCUs weren't as technical as I would have liked them to be if I were going to attend. So excited to see what comes of that. And with California being so STEMmy, I'm just curious as to if they will have more STEM related degrees at the school. So yeah, fun little article.
When you said STEMmy, I thought about stimulus checks.
What do you think, though? What's your thoughts?
I don't think it's cool. I never knew that they didn't have any, but now when I really think about it, you see most HBCUs are either in the South or more so East Coast South type stuff, Atlanta and Carolina, and are there any past like the Carolinas or something? Do we have any in the New Yorks and Philadelphia and stuff like that? I think we got one in Philly, right?
Don't get me lying.
Look, by the way, guys, I went to PWI, so
I went to a PWI
I'm not even
twice.
qualified to
Same.
talk about HBCUs. But to be fair, all I knew about was Gremlin and Southern, so I did dual enrollment with those while I was in school. So technically, I'm really Graham fam. Technically, I'm Graham fam because I had one class at Gremlin. So So,
Yeah. I only looked at a few when I was applying to get my master's, just being open, and they just weren't giving me what I needed.
yeah, I think
So
it's a
shout
resource
out to the
thing.
graduates from them though. Yeah.
Yeah, I've met
Ken,
some
what do you
people that's
think?
like they're doing some good stuff in the world where they came from. I think it's just a resource thing for them. I think they would love to get some of the students, but that was what episode was that? I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about some of the things that the HBCUs. A lot. They got Howard and DC, and yeah, so they got some like past certain areas. But anyway, they don't even have a lot of them don't have the money to even send you the things to reach out to you to want you to be interested. Like back in my day, it was like sending a mail to the house of the kid in high school and say, "Hey, look, we know you're about to graduate. Come check us out." Like it was always Baylor, LSU, and all these other schools sending stuff trying to get you to come to their school. So, but I was smart then. I was like, I ain't finna pay all that money to go to no LSU.
So I went to USF, so it's like an international school, which I thought was pretty cool. So it was like really diverse. Met a lot of different people that normally I wouldn't have met with my upbringing. I grew up in like the backwoods of Florida, so it's either like white or Mexican, basically. So that was really cool from my experience. But I think it's a really good idea. There's not a lot of HBCUs out on the West Coast, so I think we give people that look like us an opportunity to experience our culture more at colleges.
I'm just so childish, bro. When you said us, I just started thinking about not like us, and then it's an old man that's been doing a parody of not like us. He's acting like talking like if Drake dad dissed Kendrick, and I had to send it to you after this, but they put the lyrics and audio to when Jimmy Early performed on Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
They put it to that, and I'm like dead, because that's definitely the energy he was giving Jimmy Early. Talking about, you a rapper young whippersnapper. I got gout in my pinky toe. That's all that go on through my head. All right, a little bit of that comedic relief. I got something that's actually pretty funny here. So last week, LockBit claimed that they had information from the Federal Reserve Bank. But here's the kicker. LockBit said that, hey, we're going to release this information unless we're paid $50,000. So everyone's antennas went up when they said $50,000, because it was like, if I got information from the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank, I'm getting millions, because the Federal Reserve Bank interacts with pretty much every bank in the country. They help process transactions, so they have data on pretty much everybody. So that was a red flag. Sneeze got to me. But so that was a big red flag. So comes to find out that LockBit did not have information from the Federal Reserve Bank. They actually had information from, I want to say, Evolve Trust. I think it's Evolve Trust or something. Let me actually get the facts straight. We like to be factual. But that was hilarious to me, because remember, Destiny, and that's what we should have followed up on. They did release more information on the Los Angeles school district when they were hacked. I can't remember if it was related to Snowflake or not, but remember me and you said it was a red flag. It's like, wait, they only want, I think, $1,000 or $11,000.
It was a ridiculous amount. Yes, it was so insane, the amount they were asking for. It was a kid for sure. It was a kid.
So yeah, recently disrupted LockBit ransomware group in a desperate attempt to make a comeback. So they was clout chasing. LockBit used clout chasing. Claimed this week that it had hit the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States. The file claim was filed with LockBit, stating it had over 33 terabytes of sensitive banking information belonging to Americans, and that negotiations were ongoing, except the rumor has been squashed. Turns out the threat actor hit an individual bank and not the Fed. On Sunday, June 23rd, the LockBit ransomware gang announced that it had breached the Federal Reserve, aka the Fed, the most powerful economic institution in the United States. 33 terabytes of juicy banking information containing Americans' banking secrets, claimed LockBit on its leaked site, alluding to the group having breached the Fed systems and stolen sensitive data. The ransomware operator further suggested that negotiations were ongoing and that a clinical idiot offered them $50,000 to not leak the data. Okay, so I'm glad I clarified that. So they didn't ask for $50,000. It was reported like initially that they were asking for $50,000, but it said allegedly somebody offered them $50,000 for the information. You better hire another negotiator within 48 hours to fire this clinical idiot who values Americans' bank secrecy at $50,000. Or they concocted this whole thing and they never had conversations about the money anyway. Eventually, the group began publishing stolen data on its site. Some media outlets reported on the allegation without obtaining a statement from the Fed or verifying if the organization was even attacked, as LockBit claims. It turns out that it's not the Fed, but an individual U.S. financial institution that threat actors have targeted in this attack. They have apparently breached the American bank Evolve Bank and Trust. Cyber threat monitoring company Hackmanic posted in an update on social media. For now, there is still no trace of secret files, but the analysis is ongoing. Evolve is currently investigating a cybersecurity incident involving a known cybercriminal organization. It appears that these bad actors have released illegally obtained data on the dark web, and Evolve spokesperson told Leaping Computer. We take this matter extremely seriously, and I'm not going to read all this. I don't care about all that other stuff. But let me see what else they got over here. I think it's funny, though. Reacting to ransomware's operators' basis claims, X account as AI security dubbed this as LockBit's desperate bid for relevance. This might be a good thumbnail. The sensationalism of LockBit suck. A desperate bid for relevance. That's cool. All right. So I actually want to kind of piggyback off this because check this out. So I'll share this tab. So as we found out that, of course, actually hit Evolve Bank, now this was tied up to a lot of startups. Startups scrambled to assess the fallout from Evolve Bank data breach. Let's see, where is it? Evolve lists a series of companies on its site as partners that rely on the banking giant to offer some of their financial and lending services. To understand the impact of Evolve breach on these companies, TechCrunch reached out to Affirm, Airwallex, Alloy, Bun, Branch, Dave, Ernian, Margetta, MasterCard, Melio, Mercury, PrizePool, Step, Stripe, TyberPay, and Visa. Affirm spokesperson Matt Gross told TechCrunch that the company is investigating the incident and will communicate directly with any impacted customers as we learn more. Affirm also alerted its customers in a post on X, writing that the Evolve breach may have compromised some data and personal information. The company also said that it's safe to use its card and money accounts, and that its investigation into the impact of the breach is still ongoing. Earning spokesperson Stephanie Borman said the company is aware of this incident and monitoring it closely. All right, so that's kind of what that, but I want to touch on like the real world implications of that. But I thought that was pretty funny. Like, that's like, hey, we hacked you guys, and it turned out to somebody else. But I think Evolve might have been one of those people too. It's like, don't nobody know us. It can't be us. I think it's the same thing happened probably to them.
I think it's funny to highlight that even bad actors mess up too, So even they mess up. Sometimes they don't get the ransom paid like we saw in the last example. Sometimes you thought you got somebody, but you didn't get the right person.
I don't even think they did that. I think they intentionally said the Fed because they wanted people to think they was back in business. And that's why the Fed was like, Drake
they were trying to get some more credibility.
He once said a wise person said nothing at all. The Fed never addressed them because like, we're not even entertaining these fools. We didn't get hacked by them. So that made them push their bluff to where they found out Evolve was like, no, they hacked us. I doubt they got 33 terabytes. See, with them, that's why it didn't sound right. Y'all got 33 terabytes of information and ain't no alert go off. Because you got all type of DLP alerts that's going to go off if you take something over X amount. Like even if I know back in the cloud days, well, not the cloud days, still the cloud days, but like when my inception of get introduced to the cloud, we had alerts that said, hey, this cloud account is transferring X amount of, gigs of data doing this, and it had been previously seen in 90 days. So that'll cause somebody to kind of say, what's going on right here? Even though 9 times out of 10 it's probably valid, but it's going to help you look into it. So,
but you prove a good point. If they have DLP,
well, they don't always need it because you can make the custom rules if you got the logs. DLP just helps a lot of different sources at once, where you can get a little bit more intricate, especially if you can integrate it with some stuff like UEBA, with like user behavior analytics. So you can kind of get a little bit more enriched. But I mean, you can still make some basic stuff, but it's not as actionable as something actually from DLP, because the DLP, you'll literally see the document, whatever they sent out, you'll see all that. They try to print this to the printer. So, which is something a lot of companies, all right, look, you want to sound smart in the next interview? If they actually we talked about logs of sources because I help clients do that too. But if they want to ask you about, hey, how would you stop data exfiltration, or what would you look for data exfiltration? Think as technical as you can be. Think simple. Say, hey, I would check the logs to see if anybody printed something off the printer, a large amount of data that was supposed to be printed off. Now, to you, that may sound stupid, but I will tell you from my experience, I've seen it happen where somebody, before their quitting time or right when they're about to quit, they'll start printing out a whole bunch of information so they can take it with them. So by that time it's already printed out, hopefully you can stop them, say you better return that stuff or it's too late. So that's a simple way, but yet it's effective because people don't think about stopping people from printing stuff. So I would probably say certain stuff probably needs somebody to approve that it needs to be printed off if it's coming from a certain directory. That's probably what I would do for a workaround to try to fix something like that. Yo, if you're looking for a way to start your cybersecurity career, then check out Josh Matacor's course at Level Careers. He has a great cybersecurity course targeted for beginners, very affordable, and if you're familiar with Josh Matacor, he's also a brilliant YouTuber and puts out a lot of helpful content. So here are some of the reasons why you can choose cybersecurity: high demand, job security, competitive salary, work variety, and fulfilling work. The national average salary for information security analysts is $113,000. Overview of the course: theory introduction, security refresher, security frameworks, security regulations and standards, security operations signals. Then you have these great labs with Azure, logging and monitoring, Microsoft Signal, secure cloud configuration content. So if you're interested in that course, click the link in my bio and use my code to get 10% off your course. Kenneth, what would you tell LockBit?
To quit messing around and wasting people's time. Well, yeah, it's interesting. I don't think I've run into any main big threat actors in my career yet for my clients, which I'm very surprised based off of their security controls and what they have. So I'm kind of thankful for that aspect of it. A lot of the times, it's a lot of the basic stuff they don't ever get down, which will catch them up. So trying to get those fundamentals down are important. It's just going back to protect the soft skills aspect of being good in cybersecurity, being able to translate that cyber talk into actual business language is super important.
I agree. Destiny, how about you cover the Dell? Is that a video or is that an article? Okay. I think I was over here thinking about which one to talk about. TeamViewer was definitely one, or we can talk about the U.S. ban of Kaspersky.
I think Kaspersky's a hot topic right now for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about that one briefly. Because I used to see it all the time. You know, they try to bundle it with new computers and stuff, and I'm just like, really?
I think it's important to highlight what a ban means.
Kaspersky better run for their life. The U.S. Department of Commerce Bureau of Industry and Security on Thursday announced a first-of-its-kind ban that prohibits Kaspersky Labs' U.S. subsidiary from directly or indirectly offering its security software in the country. Y'all ever heard the song by Chief Keef Finito?
I have.
That's what this means for Kaspersky. The blockade also extends to the cybersecurity company's affiliates, subsidiaries, and parent companies. The department said adding the action is based on the fact that its operations in the U.S. posed a national security risk. News of the ban was first reported by Reuters. And it's funny because I was reading through the articles last night, and I believe they used to have some type of Fed contracts or government contracts, whatever, in 2019 or something like that. They already X'd them out then because it's like, nah, y'all too close to Russia selling intelligence. So yeah, we're going to do away with y'all. I think it's about to come right here. The company's continued operation in the United States. I think we read that already. Let's see. Where is it? The manipulation of Kaspersky software included in the U.S. critical infrastructure can cause significant risk of data theft, espionage, and system malfunction. It can also risk the country's economic security and public health, resulting in injuries of loss of life. As part of the ban, Kaspersky will be barred from selling its software to American consumers and businesses starting on July 20th. However, the company can still provide software and antivirus signature updates to existing customers until September 29th. I don't even see this going over well for current customers. I think they should just cut bait now, because who's to say they won't just mess up their signatures on the back end, so you start getting your stuff infected.
Exactly.
Who's to say that? Let's see. It's also urging current individuals and business customers to find suitable replacements within a 100-day time period, so as to ensure that there are no gaps in security protections. That said, it's worth noting that they can continue to use the products they should choose to do so. Russia has shown time and time again they had the capability and intent to exploit Russian companies like Kaspersky Lab to collect and weaponize sensitive U.S. information. That's not all. Kaspersky has also been added to the entity list for their cooperation with Russian military and intelligence authorities in support of the Russian government's cyber intelligence objectives. The Moscow headquartered firm, which served over 400 million customers and 240,000 corporate clients across 200 companies, including Piaggio, Volkswagen Group, Retail Spain, and the Qatar Olympic Committee, has long been in the crosshairs of the U.S. government oversight of Russia. Yeah, actually, so it was 2017. In September 2017, its products were banned from being used in the federal network, citing national security concerns. Weeks after the announcement, a Wall Street Journal report alleged Russian government hackers had stolen U.S. classified hacking tools stored on the National Security Agency contractor's home computer because it was running Kaspersky software. All right, so that's something that might be a good Darknet Diaries episode to do right here, because it's like this part right here on the NSA contractor's home computer. But why was classified information on the home
On
computer?
his home computer. Thank you.
And you work for the NSA. So,
okay, Hillary.
I feel like that person was a scapegoat. Something else happened, because it's like he should have been in trouble anyway. For all I know, he sold the stuff to them. But keep on. The New York Times reported days later that Israeli officials notified the U.S. of espionage operations after they hacked into Kaspersky's network in 2015. So is this why they be riding for Israel so hard? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. The company responded saying they came across the code in 2014 when its antivirus software flagged a 7-zip file as malicious on a US-based computer. The tool, later attributed to the Equation Group, was deleted and no third party saw the code. The company said at the time, following internal investigation, Equation Group is the name assigned by Kaspersky to a hacking crew with suspected ties to NSA's Taylor Access operation. All right, this is a long article. Nearly 5 years later, Kaspersky was added to the FCC covered list of companies that pose an unacceptable risk to national security of the country. Germany and Canada have enacted similar restrictions in recent years. Responding to the latest move from the U.S. government, Kaspersky said the Commerce Department made its decision based on current geopolitical climate and theoretical concerns. All right. That's, it's always, like I said, it's always Russia, but that's almost, that's 7 years ago. The thing happened in 2017, really 10 years with whatever happened in 2014 with the hacking. So I'm surprised they didn't ban them sooner, just because this ties into what I was talking about earlier with the offshore workers. It's like, what risk you run with having major people that come from countries that you've been beefed out with for years have a presence in your country. You know what comes with that territory. That's like, we know what happens when we see Dre on the TV screen, aka Charles. It's never going to end well. At this point, Dre is going to be a reference point for Russia. He's Russia no matter where he goes. Pastor Zeke should know about this and should just stand 10 toes down and just get out of it and don't let the blackmail get to him. I know people are like, what are you talking about? But just in general, this statement, you should have stood 10 toes down and not let Kaspersky really, like, they should just got him up out of there. Like, they're not even that good. I don't even know who still was using them anyway. There's so many different alternatives that you can use. Defender has gotten better on the home networks. Like I said, you can use Malwarebytes. You got Hitman Pro. You got Bitdefender. Which ones you use, Ken? If I know there's some ones I'm missing.
I use McAfee.
Wow, he uses McAfee. They're not even really even in business anymore. They
I've
built
used it
it.
since I've been in college, basically. So it's been almost 10 years. I'm getting old.
Their building is vacant. So I mean, hey. But yeah, that's kind of what I think about it. I think that Kaspersky was doing a lot. They got a lot of dip on their chip. But
I do. What do you use for your? What do you use your solution?
for me,
Mm-hmm.
Malwarebytes.
Oh, duh. You did just
And
say
then
that.
I use Hitman Pro to catch anything that Malwarebytes possibly didn't catch. Because like similar to like most like enterprise environments, you may have CrowdStrike containing them, so they're working in hand to catch something that the other one possibly didn't catch.
I use WebRoot, but I'm gonna look into Malwarebytes.
Hey, I be keeping up with Jody's her YouTube. I mean not her YouTube, her Instagram and stuff. She reminds me of a friend that I had. They don't look alike, but they remind me of each other. Like she probably like super cool to hang around and stuff. All right, we should be good to go now. Let's try.
You guys, the employees voted and the employees won. Dell's employees rejected returning to office. So Dell has 120,000 employees. 60,000 of them voted they would not come into the office. They'd rather work from home. And the stipulations were you won't be able to get promoted. You won't get a raise. You won't have any inter-office mobility. And if that's what you want, you'll stay remote. But if you want all of those other things, you have to return to the office. And 60,000 of them said, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. And they gave a big F you to Dell. So this is what's happening in corporate America when it comes to employees versus employers. And employees are looking for work-life balance. They're looking for not having, commutes, and they are very happily doing their work from home. Now, what happens on the other side is that there will be complete stagnation when it comes to promotion, career progression, and it will adversely affect more women than men in this case. Unfortunately, that's what the data is showing. We will see, how this all turns out, probably with a bit more data and a bit more time. But this is what's happening. Dell, I know you wanted everybody to come back to work. You have a very large workforce. And part of your deal was you were going to thin the herd by telling everybody, hey, if you don't come into the office, you're out. But then 60,000 of your workers voted to stay remote. So lesson learned on the employer side. What do you guys think? This is your elite recruiter doing the research for you so you don't have to. Like and follow for more content. I'm going to keep bringing it to you. You guys.
All right. I think the beautiful thing about this situation with Dell was I think it just highlights the power that we have as a collective group. When we want something, no one, of course, wants to not get promoted or, things like that will affect their pay or them just being able to level up at a company. But it does go to show like how powerful we are if we come together and we stand for something. Secondly, why do you want them to come back into office still? Like, what is in office for them that they need to come back so bad that you say, all right, come in or no promotions? And then thirdly, in my head, how long is that going to be going on for? Is it just for a year? Or like, is this like, what is it? I need more details around how long this is supposed to be in place because it can't be indefinitely. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
but those are my thoughts.
A lot of stuff to add to this. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to add to this. Well, number one, I see both sides. Eric and I reacted to an article, what was it, last year? And it was about how New York City was losing so much money for people working remote. And it's honestly really not Dell caring where the people are. But, when these companies come into these cities, their pitch is, hey, we're going to boost these businesses around you by X amount because all these people with these high paying jobs will be coming to stay here, be coming to eat lunch here, shop here, yada, yada, yada. Well, when those people are not in office, the economy, the stuff drips down. Like, so that's pretty much what's happening in a lot of places. They built like these nice campuses, but 2020, a lot of people built their lives around working remotely. So they don't care about the promotion because, hey, if I was staying in Austin, but you say, you know what, I'm going to move to somewhere outside of, I'm moving to Katy, Texas, or I'm moving wherever. I'm somewhere that's much more affordable for me and my family, a good work-life balance. I'm cool with not getting a promotion. I'll take my little bonus and my little 3%, 5% raise I get next year. I'm good. I don't need a promotion. So I think a lot of people are doing that. Like, okay, and like, I just move somewhere that's cheaper, which a lot of people are doing. So I think that's one way of it. Now, here's the flip side. If you are young and ambitious, no family, shoot, go into the office, get that promotion, rack your money up. So now you can start applying to those positions later on because you had a promotion of doing something just basically off the default that people didn't want to come into the office. So I see both sides. Like I said earlier, I do see a benefit of like, hey, maybe one day in office per whatever, a quarter or a month or something, or a week if you can. And you don't have to be all day, just something to see people and get out the house. And, I'm pretty sure I wanted to look up before this episode, like the correlation of like, have we seen people get bigger since 2020 based on how many people were not getting up and going into office, but working from home, sitting down at the desk all day. I did want to see if we got any information on that because I believe that is one of the things that may be happening. So all in all, to say to not promote it part, I get it. But I think if they would tell people a little bit of more transparency and just stand there and say, well, look, we really don't care what you do, but we made some promises for these businesses around here, and this is why. Now, if you don't want to come in, it's cool. I don't think it's really going to affect your promotion, but it may affect some stuff on down the line as far as us or whatever we got to do. Because think about it. You see businesses over here abandoned. Like, matter of fact, it's not the same thing, but yesterday, got out the house and went to Frisco Square thinking I was finna get some of my favorite nachos in the area at Cheetos. Pull up, Zelly's with me. We walk into the door. I yank on it. I see it's a notice on the door. Hey, Cheetos has been locked out. They have not paid their rent. And I was like, so I was like, when more people used to be in offices and working all around these different places, these places didn't have to worry about making rent because people were always around. So I'm going to just go so-and-so to get something to eat. But when they work from home, you can't do that. So
I like the transparency piece behind it, but it's not my fault you made these promises to these places.
No, I agree. But I think what some of the people might say was like, hey, well, you probably would never have the job anyway had you not initially been working in the office because we told them we was going to do this here. So I see both sides of it. I just think as long as they be balanced, whatever, or you can just lean into like some companies, they know they don't have the biggest name. They don't make the most money. So what they'll do is they'll just lean into remote work. Like, hey, you know what? We're not as big as some of these other tech companies, but we fully remote. Like, come work with us. So you could just lean into that. And that's what happens if companies are really staunch when you come back into the office. People say, okay, I'll show you. And they'll go somewhere else. They don't want them to. So don't overplay your hand. Talk to the people and ask them or let them know why you want them to come into the office. What about you, sir, Kenneth? Ken?
I, for one, do not want a promotion. Honestly, I don't want the extra stress for the little pennies they're going to give me. Henri, you watched Death Battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Omni-Man fought Homelander?
I did not watch that one. I watch it, but I don't watch it religiously because I'm subscribed to it on my other channel. So I'm normally on my main YouTube channel on YouTube, so I'm not subscribed to that one. But what about it?
Well, Homelander, in the fight scene, he broke into the Omni-Man's house and he killed his wife. And he's like, get the F out of my country. And Omni-Man starts to whoop his ass. He's like, your country? He's like, I don't want your country. And for me, that's how I feel. I have my own business, right? I don't want your little promotion. I have much grander ambitions, right? So I don't care if you're going to promote me or not, right? The extra money is going to affect me. So I have no interest in getting promoted for my own personal goals and ambitions. Because I've seen the stress that the managers on my staff have to deal with, and that's not worth it to me, right? It doesn't align with my goals.
Stress me out. I'm like, listen, y'all better stop making them big promises. But two, that goes into what I was telling you earlier about they do some of that stuff to kind of keep you there. But when you start making your own path, like it's nothing that they can do. It's like, okay, bet I was just doing this because I like the benefits. My kids, get their teeth clean and hospital stay, whatever. But all right, I'll show you. And then you'll be
Can
out.
we stay on that right there? Let's stay right here for a minute. This is important for people that are listening. Like, have other passions outside of just working for a company. We've said this 50 million times. Have a passion, be passionate about something else, have something else going on in your life to where you are not tied to an employer. Let's say Dell's your dream company and all you ever wanted to do was get promoted. Then this news is going to break you down to your core. But if you look at it from Kenneth's perspective, like that's real.
Yeah. But
He's
I will
got
say,
real life personal goals,
Yeah. But I also say that everybody, and Kenneth could attest to this, everybody isn't meant to have their own thing going on. Just because of a lot of the BS and all the other stuff that comes with it. Well, I'll say everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. They could
For
probably have
sure.
like a side hustle, or matter of fact, if y'all watching this now,
yes.
if you're watching this now, go and watch my episode I did with Justice on how to pretty much be overemployed with your own business and get contracts and stuff. Go watch that episode. Therefore, you can figure out, okay, you know what? I don't want to be an entrepreneur, but I got a skill set. Let me start this LLC and let me do some C2C stuff so I can charge what I want and get paid what I want, and I'll be good to go. So go watch that episode, because something like that will help you where you're not having to brainstorm, okay, what I want to offer the market. Nah, you'll have a specialized skill set. You can get the contracts and you can go from there. And it'll be much easier than trying to start over from grow and prove yourself to the market and advertise and all the other BS that comes with, or your prices are too high, or can you come, all that BS that comes with that. So you can definitely do that. So watch the episode. Matter of fact, I may have the thumbnail come up like right here.
But yeah, another thing I tell my students is your company is not your family, right? These are for-profit businesses. If legally speaking, if they could legally pay you 2 oranges per day, they would, and they used to back in the day, right? So I tell people just keep that in mind, right? I hear all the time, man, we're a family. I'm like, I wouldn't lay off my own brother and sister, right? If we were a
And that's
family,
a
right?
red
That's not how
flag
it
when they
works.
say that too.
I'm saying, so just be careful, right? Have stuff outside of work. I always view myself as like a mercenary, and I'll do what I need to do to make sure my company is happy. But other than that, I have my life outside of work. So keep that in mind.
You know what? As I'm watching this, hey, I'm thinking Kendrick might be a vigilante. I mean, Kenneth might be a vigilante. Kickboxing, not doing work past a certain time. He
He's
might
not
be
playing.
He might be keeping
You're
Irvin
not
safe.
playing no games.
I don't have time for it, man. I figured out really quickly. They tried to get me fired in the past. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe once your time is commenced, that definitely be a episode to do. I have on this thing, I have an anonymizer where people won't know it's you. So we actually it might just be straight audio. Patreon exclusive. Let me see what other TikToks I had on here, because I had some good ones.
Do you know you made it when it's 12 p.m., everyone's in the office, and you're out and about? Those of us who are in the remote industry, it is the best. It is actually so good that once you go remote, you will never go back to the office. You'll do whatever it takes to not go back. But ironically, being in this space, you make more money, often 2 to 3 times than in office.
All right, let's stop that. But only thing I didn't like, he said, those of us who are in the remote industry, it's no remote industry, man. Everybody's always trying to do this thing on social media where they sound smarter than what they are. Like, why you just gonna say those of us who work remote? And I agree with him, but I don't agree. Just because you work remote don't mean you always make more than somebody who doesn't work remote. It depends on the company, and if they're not going to try to pace you based on region. Because honestly, that's one of the things too. That's a hot take. I think companies should like forget all the region stuff and just have one range, and if the person's good enough, pay them no matter like where they stay. Because companies are still okay, it's my show. I was talking that during that time I was telling you I talked to the recruiter for the T-Mobile gig. It's like a senior IR role. They didn't want to. I initially applied because I liked the range, but when I found out the range for Frisco, it was lower than the other ones, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, unless you're gonna make it be the Seattle range, no. Because why y'all keep on thinking Texas is just cheap, that you can pay it the lowest in all the ranges? Texas isn't cheap anymore. So I've told recruiters, I was like, y'all need to go do some market research. It's not cheap out here anymore. I told them, I said, this probably would have worked back in 2019, 2020. But this price, for the level of talent y'all need, especially how y'all get breached, that's not going to cut it. And
especially how y'all get breached is funny.
I didn't say that to him, but I was thinking it. On top of that particular role, wanted people to be in the office like 4 days a week. So it's like, how are you going to pay not enough money to have somebody come in, 4 days a week?
I want to talk about the video.
That's serious.
I also agree with you in him saying, like, everybody who's remote isn't making more money than people who are in office. And two, just because you're remote doesn't mean you have a flexible work schedule. So you could be remote and be glued to the phone, to the chair, to the desk for 4 hours until they tell you to take a break. So just because you're remote doesn't mean your job is flexible. So that's the truth of the matter. You could have a remote job, but you can still feel like you're in office because you're still on a schedule. And most jobs are still on, like, you're expected to work from here to here, take your break here, take your lunch here, typically. So that's the truth of the matter with working remote. Remote comes in different flavors, different sizes.
Yeah. And I could probably show you how to mitigate that about looking busier than what you are, just sign up for group coaching. But in all seriousness, no, I used to do that like on the VDI stuff. The companies that had the VDI, you could, if it was on your computer, I mean, you definitely could use a mouse jiggler on your own computer and have it like just spinning like you're doing work. But I know when I was a lead, I didn't have to do a lot of queue work, so it was more so escalation. So I knew my schedule for my meetings and all this other stuff. So I did have a little bit more flexibility, like to go work out, or if I need to go to the doctor, get a haircut, or go get a massage real quick. Like I could do that stuff, but it was in the parameters of my role, and I did really good work. So they were never concerned about what I'm doing, because like he's going to pull through every single time. So you can't get to that point. So there are companies to where like you just got your deliverables and you get them out of there and you're good to go. Like that's perfect for you. But then other companies, like you said, they're trying to see how many tickets you did, where you at, why you didn't respond to this message. Sometimes you're like, I'd just be better off in the office.
or sometimes,
I mean, I keep on saying call you Kendrick, Kenneth.
I don't know.
I think I keep on thinking about like Kung Fu Kenny and like other stuff, and then your name start with a K. And I think because like for all the last couple of months, all this business like Kendrick and Drake, and your name start with a K, so you just happen to be Kendrick today. So, but yeah, it seems like you got a lot on your mind about some of these topics.
Yeah,
it's gonna be PC until he's made his great escape. I know that look.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very normal when companies try to do that, right? Because I've gotten to a point I'm very good at my job. I know what I need to do. I know what my teammates need. And I just tell them, hey, if you need me at all on any of these calls, just let me know. Because I'm not going to hop on the 30 calls they have, right? It doesn't make any sense. I'm here to do my job. But you guys need me for a certain call or a certain time, bro, just let me know and I'll help you out, right? And I get left alone for the most part. I make sure my client's happy, my team's happy, and my team doesn't mind, basically. It's just certain higher ups that don't like it.
Right. Let me do this comedic relief before we go into the next TikTok, because I want to laugh at this. I know whoever got it. I said, when you apply to a job using Workday and Workday.
Man, can he go on? Please get him out of here.
You ain't even qualified, Queen. I've never seen somebody who could turn Queen to be a derogatory statement.
He was so sassy, for sure.
He wasn't sassy, I think, but you got to think about it. That whole show was supposed to be fake. I'm not gonna lie though, some of the women on there would be gassed up, or either they told them to act, because I was like, y'all should be happy somebody looking your way.
I think it's.
Do you know you made it?
It depends on the episode.
Let me see, because let me see if this is it. Corporate 101, post-grad. Please. This is my boy Kevin White right here. He's going to come on the show soon. I need to actually... he's in Chicago. I actually want to visit Chicago. It'll be cool to take a freaking podcast trip and record in Chicago.
Chicago's nice. Go in the summer.
Because I'm definitely trying to go to Smokies.
Barbecue.
I'll just be funny seeing if I see Emmett and them there. See Emmett and Alicia. Oh, we do more than talk. Hey, wow. All right, let's get to it. Corporate 101, post-grad. Please understand, just because you get your master's or your PhD without any experience does not mean companies want to hire you. Companies right now in this job market are cutting costs. They understand that if you have your master's degree or your PhD, you're more expensive. You want more money, and they don't want you. As I was approaching my graduation in college, my mom asked me, she said, aren't you going to get your MBA, get your master's in business? I was like, for what? I don't have any experience. We thought about it. She was like, well, yeah, you're right. What's the point of getting a master's degree and you don't know shit? Majority of people get their master's degrees to get more money. Don't let anybody fool you or tell you anything differently. Companies know that as well. If you finish your undergrad at 22, you get your master's and you complete that by 24, 25, and I have to pick a candidate. You're asking for 100,000 and the undergrad is asking for 60. I'm going to take that 60K. Just because you start stacking degrees and stacking post-grad degrees does not mean a company wants to hire you. Please be cognizant before you get into more debt and take on further education, because in this job market, companies do not care. They're finding the cheaper option, especially if you have no experience yet. Does that make sense?
He ate down.
Yeah, my boy Kevin ate. And that was spurred by... So there was this other, like, Twitter always had a stuff, and I can't find. I'm mad she deleted the post because I was going to use it as a topic, but it was a chick talking about she had a master's, I think it was in security or whatever, and she pretty much been on the help desk for 4 years, and so that made me think about that post because I bookmarked it a while back, and I think that's true because we talked about this. I think the last time we recorded about when we went live about getting your degree and going to school and stuff. And a lot of people don't have a plan. Like he said, they think that, okay, I want to get my master's in cybersecurity, so I'm going to get a job making $120,000. And I might link this video here. A year or two ago, I reacted to this. It wasn't Forbes. I forgot who's the article, who's the company that did this article. But it was saying these people that get these master's degrees were making $200,000 in cybersecurity. And I kind of pointed out the nuances in the argument. It was like from Berkeley's cybersecurity program, and most of these, like, it's on the West Coast, and then most of the companies that they were working there were on the West Coast. I was like, so that's why they may be getting these higher salaries. And the article, I think, was paid for and endorsed by Berkeley. So I was like, I kind of saw that. But for everybody else, if you don't have a lot of experience, do not try to live up to people who are the anomaly. The exceptions do not make the rule. So you do need to focus on maybe getting some experience or get some experience while you're getting a master's. Like, that's what I was doing. I was in my first cyber job while getting a master's, but my master's wasn't even in like cyber. That can help you out a lot versus, even though I love master's programs, you're going to have to be an exceptional interviewer and have a good network in order to land a 6-figure role after that master's. Unless you're in a high cost of living area to where that 6 figures is really not 6 figures. So that's what I would say about that. And then for the person who's stuck in help desk, I don't know what you're doing to be stuck in help desk for 4 years. It's too long.
I'll say I think the recent grad programs are big there, especially if you're someone who's just doing school, not gaining any experience, then you should be looking at recent grad programs. They're specifically for recent grads. They know you don't have a ton of experience. But also, I agree with doing something while you're in school to help build that knowledge up and that experience that you can use on a resume.
Mind about their education like that?
A lot of people. Yes. What?
Kenneth,
yes.
You see every time we are talking about, please don't lie about your education. Please don't say you have a PMP. Like, we see that all the time.
Is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty common. Actually, I've seen that happen. Never mind.
Yeah, like they tell people, hey, I had one of my highest viewed videos on TikTok is a person saying, hey, these people don't check where you work, so just put anything down. No, that's why I had the biggest gripe one time with one of the people's favorite tech influencers because they were parading a young man around who was willfully lying about their experience that is on LinkedIn as not true. And I was saying, hey, if this person cared anything about you, he would not be parading you around like this. Because if you get in by lying, if some of y'all young, but on the Wayans Bros, RP to John Witherspoon, him and the boys would say this. If something that nobody's supposed to know, he would say, shh, don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody if you got in like that. And I was upset about that too. I didn't message even the young man because people will say like you're hating when you're trying to tell them, hey, no, this don't make sense. Because when they were parading this guy around, they were saying, hey, they are making, I forgot, $200,000 as senior DevOps or something after like a year or something like that.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's like, yo, LinkedIn say 5 years. So which one is it? And they was like, oh, well, don't look at his LinkedIn, listen to us. I was like, do you know how stupid that sounds? And it wasn't even out of hate. I'm always genuinely concerned about either my clients or stuff like that. So I'm always telling them to do so. Like, if we have to finesse something, it's because it's literally what we have to do because, like, there's nothing else working. And when we finesse something, it's a little bit of finessing. It's not a really big embellishment. And that's what I don't like when this stuff is out here, because to them, oh, embellish, lie about this. Oh, hey, yeah, it's true. And you know what? Hey, comment, get in tech, and I'm going to send you the link to this boot camp because it's all about getting my affiliates and my money from them. So you can get the tech like this and not think about the long-term effects of what happens after that. Because if them people do find out, hey, we did your background check, you didn't work here, you don't have a degree, you out of here.
Yeah, you wasted all that time. You done got your hopes up thinking it was going to be something. And this is an industry where you have to have integrity, period. It's really that simple. You have to have integrity in this industry. And doing things like that, we talked about this 50 million times. Don't lie on your resume. Because even still, you're going to get in there and you ain't going to be able to answer the questions. They can tell when you don't know. They can tell when you're phishing. Instead of you just saying, I don't know, you just continue to draw yourself into a deeper hole, which they can clearly see. No matter what you think, they can clearly tell that you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, and even in this case, they probably could know what they're talking about. It's just the rate of you embellishing so much that it's unbelievable. Because, and then when it comes to us, this world is super small. You start seeing who knows everybody behind the scenes. And so that's why I'm always telling people, hey, do good work, be careful. Don't try to lie too much and get over too much, because people talk and know each other, and that could come back to haunt you. So, but she's cool. I've reacted to like a lot of her content before. I think I did on TikTok, and we both were agreeing on like how like resume writers are cool, but you need a person that's gonna like, I could do your resume, but you ain't got no real skills. So me making your resume look good ain't gonna help you out any. So it's definitely time. Like the market is correcting itself, and that's another reason why remote work has went down, because I've said it plenty of times. You had people interviewing for roles and it wasn't that person. When they get into the job, it was a whole other person working the job. True story.
It is
they
true
say
story.
If I'm lying, I'm flying.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much it though on today's episode. Eventually, we're gonna get it together where we try to do this thing weekly. Keyword is try. Everybody's pretty busy. Destiny's been having a hot girl summer, so it's been hard to record all the time. But our special guest Kenneth was here. Y'all guys probably saw him 2 weeks ago on live stream with me where we talked about Splunk. Speaking of the video, it's like doing very well, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, so talking about Splunk, I actually got to cut it up too. I haven't got a chance to cut it up to like the segments and stuff that we did, so I'll do that. I got a lot of free time coming up pretty soon. But yeah, anything you guys want to say before we lead the audience?
We got to drop a favorite quote or quote in your head from a movie.
Oh yeah, we'll let Kenneth go first. Favorite quote, favorite anime quote. We'll let you go first.
From the spot. I don't have one on the top of my head. I guess I don't know. This is gonna be like really nerdy and corny. But just from like Superman, Lex Luthor says like there's only one person fit to play God in this world, and that's me. Hey, and he like yells his name, they kill Superman, which I thought was like really funny.
I like that. I've been on my biopic tip lately, so mine's going to be from The Temptations when our favorite was like, "Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis." That's just been in my head. Just anytime somebody say something, that's my comeback. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. So if you haven't seen The Temptations, watch it. It's a classic. And yeah, that's my quote of the day.
That made me think about, I know we talked about the Jacksons before. And I don't remember if we talked about the time they was all supposed to be getting into the limo to go somewhere. And Randy is dancing. And Joe says, "Get in the car." And Randy spins around again. He says, "Baby." And then get in the car. I don't know why I like that part, but I love that part.
Because he was feeling himself. He knew he looked good. You couldn't tell him nothing. Exactly.
Whatever song he was singing. He was walking out like that.
Yes, he was
in that movie too.
He was getting it.
What my boy say? I don't know. I can go down this rabbit hole because I've been watching a lot of shows. I started Fargo. I think it's gonna be one of the ones that pick up slow.
Do you like it so far?
I'm indifferent. I got to keep watching it. I feel like it's like what Ray Donovan is. Like if I tell a person to watch Ray Donovan, I tell them, hey, it's going to take probably 1 to 4 episodes for it to really pick up because it's building out the story from season 1. So I'll give it time. I think it's probably good. The fact it got so many seasons. So I actually just finished Wayward Pines, which is garbage. Wayward Pines is garbage. And it'd be a show that they would never would make centered around Black people. I'm just going to say that too. Hunger Games and The Maze Runner and freaking all them type of shows would never be made about Black people.
I mean, they all look like they're Abercrombie and Finch models. They're all like unnaturally attractive. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, how's that possible?
Wait, did y'all watch Your Honor? Did you watch Your Honor? Your Honor?
Yeah, I'm waiting for season 3.
It's over.
Huh?
Wait, there's only 2 seasons.
They're not gonna do season 3?
No, it's done. Ain't that insane?
They might
it's
come
done.
back.
Like,
because I know Suits season 9 is coming up to Netflix.
No, they're allegedly like there won't be another season.
They probably won't because Showtime had the issue where they moved up to Paramount Plus, so they were trying to figure out what they're keeping. And Your Honor wasn't that popular per se on Showtime, but
that's what the feedback was.
Yeah, yep. But with it being on Netflix, it may get popular enough that they redo it because I think that's what's going to happen. And since you brought up Your Honor, that made me like, I used to go around the house saying, "I'm Eugene Jones. I'm Eugene Jones. I'm Eugene Jones."
You gotta chill.
Giselle be getting mad at me for saying that I'm Eugene Jones, but that part used to be like, it's not funny to me, but like it's just like different stuff. And I was just like, it's crazy that Your Honor is set in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is probably one of the most crooked states like in the country, especially when it comes to politics and how many people that we got down there in jail, they ain't do nothing.
Yeah.
But what did I leave the people? I forgot I left them with that Chris Tucker one last time. But yeah, this is my boat. The SS Minnow Johnson. I think I'm going to go watch Rush Hour today. But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Tune in to like the last episode, the one with Sandra. My Patreon people, I got another exclusive episode that will be on Patreon probably coming up pretty soon. I don't know when I'm releasing on YouTube, but it's another heavy hitter in the YouTube game. So you definitely want to be on the Patreon. But until next time, we out. Peace.
See you.